Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news. Now folks, when we talk about the Giants and their current situation, it's impossible not to feel a mix of concern and hope. The latest devastating news coming out of the team hits hard. Malik Neighbors, a promising young receiver, tore his ACL. That's right, the injury happened just recently, and the impact on the Giants' passing game is enormous. Neighbors, who had been emerging this season, was showing real promise. With 18 catches for 271 yards and 2 touchdowns, he was becoming a key piece in Brian Daboll's offensive puzzle. And let's be honest, every defense the Giants faced this year had to game plan specifically for Neighbors because of his explosiveness and ability to stretch the field. His absence leaves a huge gap, not just in terms of numbers, but also in the confidence and versatility he brought to the offense. The loss of Neighbors is a massive blow, especially considering the limited options currently available in the wide receiver room. Right now, Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, Bo Collins, and Gunnar Olszewski make up the roster, but it's clear that the depth and talent are not quite where they need to be. Hyatt, who is a highly touted rookie, has been pretty much MIA since his debut season, and the team hasn't shown much eagerness to give him more opportunities. Bo Collins was intriguing during training camp, being a UDFA from Notre Dame, but he's still very much a project, young, developing, and with room to grow. Gunnar Olszewski, on the other hand, is more of a veteran presence, mainly contributing on special teams, but he's not the receiver who will consistently produce big plays in the passing game. Meanwhile, the practice squad offers some potential options. Ihmir Smith-Marsette, Lil Jordan Humphrey, and Dalen Camber are all currently on the practice squad, and Humphrey has shown some rapport with rookie quarterback Jackson Dart during training camp. Humphrey might even get a call-up, especially given his profile as more of an outside receiver, which the Giants could desperately use. The team is definitely scouring the market, both in free agency and on practice squads, looking for solutions to fill the void left by Neighbors. Names like Odell Beckham Jr. and Nelson Agholor have been floating around social media, sparking hope among fans that the Giants might make a splash. But the reality is, acquiring a veteran receiver through trade or free agency isn't simple, especially with the Giants already down a 2026 third-round pick, and considering the current market value. And that brings us to the trade market, which is always a tricky game, especially in season. The recent trade of Devon Veal from the Broncos to the Saints for future draft picks has inflated the price tag on wide receivers. The Giants, knowing their current needs, are probably hesitant to give up future assets unless the price is right. Think about it, trading for a veteran like Stefon Diggs or any other big-name receiver could be a tempting move. But the cost might be too high and the contract details, let's face it, are not exactly favorable to the Giants. Diggs, for instance, just signed a 3-year, $64.5 million deal with the Bills, with an out after this season that would cost the team nearly $10 million in dead cap. That doesn't exactly scream fit for a team trying to rebuild and stay flexible financially. But there are other options, more realistic and perhaps more strategic. The Giants might look toward the trade market for players who can produce immediately without costing a fortune. One name that's been linked to the team, given the coaching connection, is Stefon Diggs. Brian Daboll knows Diggs well from their time together in Buffalo, and that familiarity could make a potential trade more feasible. Diggs, who turns 32 in November, has been targeted heavily this season, 22 times by Drake May, with 19 catches for 213 yards. His catch rate is impressive at 86.4%, with an average of 11.2 yards per catch. His yards after the catch, or YAC, and contested catch ability make him a valuable weapon, especially in high-pressure situations. He's been a consistent deep threat, with a top speed of 18.2 mph this season, and he's shown that he still has plenty left in the tank. However, the contract situation makes a trade complicated. Diggs' deal is substantial, and moving him would mean taking on a hefty salary cap hit. Still, if the Giants want to make a push, especially with the NFC East heating up, and other teams possibly looking to bolster their receiving core after injuries like Tyreek Hill's ACL tear, they might consider exploring that avenue. But let's be honest, it's probably unlikely that the team will go all in on a veteran of that caliber, especially with the financial implications. Another intriguing option is Jakobi Meyers. The Raiders' wide receiver has been the subject of trade rumors, and his situation is quite interesting. Meyers has been a target hog for the Raiders, with over 94% of snaps played each game this season and a target share of nearly 30%. He's caught 21 of 32 targets for 258 yards, and he primarily operates in the slot, though he's capable of lining up outside as well. Meyers is in the final year of a 3-year, $33 million deal, and he's asked for a trade at the start of the season, which makes him a prime candidate for a team like the Giants to pursue. He's got experience in complex offenses, having played with the Patriots before, and he's shown he can produce consistently. The Giants could see him as a reliable target to help fill the void, and depending on how negotiations go, they might even consider re-signing him if everything aligns. Plus, losing Meyers next offseason could net the Giants a compensatory pick, which would be a nice bonus for their draft capital. And then there's the case of the Saints' Devonta Shahid, a deep-threat speedster who's had a breakout year in 2023. Shahid caught 20 passes for 349 yards and 3 touchdowns in just 6 games last year, and he was on pace to continue that momentum this season before tearing his meniscus. He's a fast, explosive player, averaging 18.2 yards per catch with a 14.2 ADOT, who can stretch the field and create big plays. His cost is far more manageable, with a rookie deal that includes a $4.2 million base salary, making him a more affordable option to add depth without sacrificing future assets. The Saints might be looking to recoup draft picks after their recent trades, and Shahid's speed and youth make him an attractive target. But let's be real, trading for a veteran like Diggs might be too much of a gamble, especially for a team that's still trying to establish stability and develop its young core. The Giants, in their current position, are probably better suited to look for hidden gems on practice squads or to focus on developing their young receivers like Jalen Hyatt and Wan'Dale Robinson. Hyatt, despite limited action, has shown flashes of his potential, and Robinson's return from injury could be a game-changer if he can regain his form. Now, talking about practice squad options, the Giants have some intriguing names that could be brought up for immediate help. Davis, for example, is a familiar face to Brian Daboll. They worked together with the Bills, and he recently returned to the practice squad after a stint in Jacksonville. He's just 26, stands 6'3", and weighs 225 pounds, perfect size for a receiver who can go up and get the ball. Despite a rough spell in Jacksonville, Davis still has youth and upside, and he might be worth a shot to see if he can contribute. Perry, drafted in the 6th round of the 2023 NFL Draft by the Saints, is now on the Broncos' practice squad. He's a big-bodied receiver at 6'3", 205 pounds, and caught 4 touchdowns in his rookie season. With the coaching staff change in New Orleans, he wasn't retained, but his potential is evident. It might be worth seeing if Perry is interested in joining the Giants for a deeper evaluation. Weiss Jr. is another name to keep an eye on. He could be called up from the practice squad after the injury to Tyreek Hill, or the Giants could consider signing him to add depth. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, and caught 10 passes for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns in the preseason. Not flashy, but smart, disciplined, and capable of providing some help in a pinch. And then there's Skinner, who caught a touchdown in the preseason against the Giants and impressed with his size, 6'5", 200 pounds and hands at Kansas. He's an undrafted rookie, but with a 4.28 40-yard dash at his pro day, he's got the speed to stretch defenses. His college production was solid, and he adds a different dimension as a tall, athletic receiver who could develop into a reliable target down the line. All these options point to one thing: the Giants are not just sitting idly by. They're actively exploring every avenue, whether that's trading, signing free agents, or bringing in young prospects from practice squads. It's a smart approach, especially given the current challenges at wide receiver. The team knows they need to bolster their passing game to stay competitive, especially with the NFC East heating up and rival teams improving. Now, I want to highlight that the Giants are in a delicate position. They don't want to overpay or make reckless moves, but they also don't want to miss out on opportunities to improve. Their focus is on finding players who can step in quickly and contribute, whether that's a seasoned veteran, a promising young player, or a hidden gem on a practice squad. It's about balancing short-term needs with long-term stability. And as we look ahead, the Giants' offensive core is still a work in progress. Jackson Dart, the rookie quarterback, has flashed potential, but he needs reliable targets to help him develop. The offensive line has shown resilience, but the passing game's success depends heavily on the receivers making plays and creating separation. The coaching staff, led by Brian Daboll, is known for turning around underperforming units, but they need the right personnel to execute their game plan. In the broader context, the NFC East is becoming more competitive each week. The Eagles continue to dominate, the Cowboys are always dangerous, and even the Commanders are showing signs of life. The Giants need to keep pace, and that means making smart, strategic moves at wide receiver. Whether it's through trade, free agency, or developing the guys they already have, every decision counts. So fans, you can see the urgency and the opportunity. The team is aware of the gap left by neighbors and is actively seeking solutions. It's a fascinating situation that could define the rest of the season. Will they pull off a blockbuster trade? Will they find a hidden gem on the practice squad? Or will they rely on their existing roster and hope for breakout performances? That's what makes following this team so exciting right now. The drama, the strategy, and the passion all come together in a moment that could shape the future of the Giants for years to come. And now, New York Giants fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the New York Giants. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest New York Giants news.